Moms get the real child. Like, kids present differently in the classroom because they're able to hold it together, and they have to hold it together all day. But when they come home, all the emotions come out, everything comes out, and then you're not getting that sense of achievement or sense of satisfaction. All you are seeing is that down negative parts of their day,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're not negative most of the day,
Mm.
but that's where it's coming out because it's a safe place. So when you feel like you're doing so much, it's just the sense of achievement can never come right away because all you're seeing are people complaining at you and the negatives of things.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's just how it is and what raising kids is. And, we've seen all these studies now about noticing emotions and acknowledging emotions and really respecting the emotions of people and not trying to get kids to go from sad to happy. We see how hard that is for them and how this feeling of disconnection when people are forced to do that. So, a lot of the work we have to take on as moms is very emotionally draining, and it takes everything. It takes everything out of you. So I think that's where a lot of it's coming from, because not only is there really no end date to your work, I mean, parenthood lasts forever, but you're also hearing all of the negativity and the complaining and dealing with all the emotions. And it's very, very hard. And you never get that like pat on the back to say, hey, you're doing a good job.
And this is why we need to not be parenting 24/7. And we need
Yeah.
those release valves, those pressure valves, and things like that. So,
Yeah.
how can moms balance the demands of parenting while prioritizing self care, mental health, well being?
I think the first thing to know is that, like I said earlier, this is an impossible, like, there's an impossible amount of things to get done every day. Like, the work is never, ever going to stop. I was just talking with my group, and one of the women brought up that, okay, well, first it's either like my husband needs me, and then like my kids need me, and then my dog needs me, and then maybe my mom calls and she needs me. And then when everyone's asleep, then there's housework. Like, the demands on us are never ending. So this idea that we can possibly get everything done is just a fallacy. And it's impossible. And it's one of those things where it's like, I feel bad saying it because it's like, I am a very positive person, but also it's realistic. Like, you cannot get everything done in a day. So there are choices that really have to be made to preserve your own mental health, and balance it with parenting. I always say the best mom is a happy mom. And what that means is that if you are going through your day angry or resentful, like, your kids pick up on that. There's a study that was talked about in the Washington Post in, I think it was 2012, where it said it wasn't the amount of time that parents spent with their children, like that didn't show any effect on kids. But what showed a negative effect was if the parents were depressed or anxious or stressed when they were around their children. And that's not to make anyone feel guilty about that if you're anxious or depressed or anything. Like, anger is actually a great thing to show and to explore and to explain and then repair relationships with. But what it should be telling you is that if you are feeling that anger or resentment, there is something you need to do to take care of yourself, because you cannot mask those emotions. That's not how emotions work. It's like stuffing trash down in a garbage can. Like, eventually you're not going to be able to stuff it anymore. Like, it's
I
going to
like
come
that.
out.
I like that analogy. It's very appropriate to that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, and it comes out in like the most explosive ways when you try to do that. So stuffing it down isn't an option. But what has shown to relieve stress is spending time away from your kids, or going and meet
Oh.
up with a new friend, or sleeping.